Okay, I think everything's up and running. So, welcome in everyone for round 2 of Tier 3 Blue. Prepare for me to lag like crazy. This should be interesting then. Yeah, we're at Tokyo East, which is actually the first time we've done this on a Monday. And I actually really like this track. It did not suit the Aston. I'm pretty sure nobody has the displeasure of having that in this tier. They don't. So, a quick run through the grid. Both four GTs on the front row, which makes sense. Should suit this. The car should suit this track a lot better than it did at the Red Bull Ring. So we've got Ellie on pole, got Fancy Locks in second, we've got Ross in third, doing pretty well in that Audi. I didn't think it'd be that particularly strong round here. Got Skycloud in fourth, so backing up their P2 in quali in the first round with a strong start. Then we've got Clyde, who I think that's quite a bit higher up than he was in Red Bull Ring, so that's a good improvement. Henner's down in sixth, though not quite as strong as Red Bull Ring was on. I think he actually was qualified third, but had a really strong couple of races to be tied for the lead of the championship. Then we've got Arfaxad in the McLaren in seventh. Hurricane, who has possibly not got his livery, probably just didn't load, but he will make do. But Hurricane in eighth, which is slightly better than last week, so into the top 10. Filthy and then Zab just on the edge of the top 10. Erotico's down in 11th. That's quite surprising. He had a really strong Red Bull Ring, currently tied for the lead of the championship. Marty alongside him, so both these drivers doing a lot worse in qualifying at least. So I'd be interested to see if they can make their way forward because they had good pace at Red Bull Ring, so I'd expect them to move forward. Then we've got Kanata in 13th having another struggling qualifying. Managed to come through to, I think, 7th in the sprint and got the feature win last week. So, and the Super should suit this track quite nicely. So I would expect him to move forward. I think his teammate is actually missing this week. So they're currently leading the Constructors, so that's probably not going to be the case after tonight. Then we've got Fossey in the NSX again, still struggling, but maybe can do a bit better in the race if he can keep it consistent and out of the walls, because some people are definitely going to pick up damage at some point. They've got T. Morrison, who's actually his first race in the tier this season. I think he did the reserve race on last Monday. Not sure how it went for him, but he's down in 15th in the Mazda. It should be pretty good for Tokyo, to be honest. And then we have Gunmad, who was apparently should be keeping an eye out for some lag, which is probably a good job that he's at the back. But without any further ado, let's go to that. And let's get this underway. 3 lights, 4, 5, and they are off. Oh, Ellie jumped the start. That's going to surely at least Fancy Locks through. He's going to pull over yet. It's good teamwork there. Fancy Locks pulling back in, but is Ross going to be able to pull in between them? Doesn't look like he's going to. We're going almost 4 wide. Oh no, Ross does manage to pull in. And we've got Henners unsurprisingly making a great start in the NSX. Let's move forward a little bit. There we go, Ross. So Ellie going down the outside of Ross now. There's a massive run down to the first corner. Sends it really deep. Oh, there's a bit of wall riding there. Did they get any damage? No, they didn't. So Ross manages to hold on to second. Fancy Lot's got a bit of a lead now. And Ross coming under pressure, not really coming under pressure, but we're side by side behind with Henners and Arfaxad. Henners going to hold that on the inside. And then we've got Ellie actually going side by side with Filthy. Expect the 4GT to pull ahead, and it does. Keeps it nice and clean through there. Looks like Arfaxad of a bit of a messy chicane. Not enough. Oh no, he's actually going for the move on Henners, so Henners is actually even worse. Oh, that was almost. I think that was Arfaxad in the wall. Let's just go back a little bit and check what happens to Henners. Oh, that's it. And that was Filthy actually hitting the back of him, but Henners picking up damage there, so that's going to cost him. He probably can manage to hold position, honestly, through this section. If you get it a bit later in the lap, it can really hinder you down the straights. But Ellie should be able to pull away now because that will affect his straight line speed. Used like a wall. Yeah, he looks 3 wide into turn 1. Not the greatest place to be, especially when you're on the outside of it. So let's go back up. So Fancy Locks is running away with this one at the moment. Ross is probably going to come under threat from our backside. Depends if they're going to work together to try and get back to the leader, or if our backside thinks he wants to go for the move. Looks like he's bump drafting for now. But Ellie, got to keep an eye on Ellie in the background because that Ford is quick and looks just about within slipstream range of the cars ahead. Probably going to be right on the back of them at turn 1. Maybe not actually. So is our backside going to just stick there and work together, or is he going to think about going for the move? Ross looks like he's defending a little bit, just not making it easy. And he's going to hold on to that P2. Yep, just keeps out of the wall. And like I said, Ellie right on the back of these two now. But it doesn't look like any of these. Ellie might have something for their teammate, but it's got a couple of people to get past first. Now, like I said, moving out. Has he got enough alongside? Not quite. Ross covers, goes back to the inside. Ooh, yeah, managed to get through there. But like Arfaxer was going to go for the move there. It's a bit risky to send it in that part of the track. But I've got a bit of a train forming behind Ross. I think all the way down to 7th, I think. And Fancy Locks is definitely getting away massively. So this is really Fancy Locks' race to lose. So that's probably almost 2 seconds gone, maybe even more already. It'll be interesting to see what this lap is, because that is a big gap. Okay, ooh, backside, going too deep, makes contact with Ross. It's going to cost him the position to Ellie. Didn't really cost Ross anything, luckily. Although still side by side. Ellie in the 4GT is surely going to get this. Yeah, and does. That 4GT is rapid on the straights. And they are still within slipstream of Ross, so Ross is actually probably going to be under threat into turn 1. So just checking the laps, 59.8, 58.0. So that's a good lap. And thinking about, are they bump drafting? No, they do pull out, and it's probably going to be passed completely by the time we get to turn 1. Yeah, slams the door shut. Arvaxer gets pushed wide a little bit. Is that going to allow Ross through? It looks like it has. And he is on the inside, should be able to hold it, and he does. Arvaxer now coming under threat from Henners, so this is going to be a bad couple of corners, all the way from the last corner where he was a bit too deep on the brakes, and he's lost 2 positions now instead of possibly gaining 1 when he was having a look at Ross. So these guys are all going to be pretty in line. Oh no, Arfaxad thinking about the move. No, I think it's better of it. I think he went for the move on lap 1, and that's what caused Henners to get a bit of damage in the wall. Fancy Locks is well and truly gone at the moment. Cruising away with this one. Be interested to see if Ellie can break the slipstream from Ross behind, because they were on pole, so they should have the speed. Just have a quick look back. Got a Ross cars. Marty's up to 6, so that's some amazing progress. Oh, and oh, way too late. Way too late on the brakes there. Let's have a look at this again. Not really even thinking about the move. I think he just either taking avoiding action, but he's way too late on the brakes. That's hits Henners. Surprised Arfaxad didn't manage to get through there, on the inside. I got slowed down quite a lot from that little bump. And then, oh, three wide through there, not where you want to be. I think Marty probably wisely giving up that position, or both those positions really, and dropping back in behind. But now that little bit of fighting or a little bit of an incident has brought multiple people back into this. So Skycloud on the back of Marty now. Filthy's not too far behind. Rotkoz is a little bit of a gap to Filthy. Let's see who we've got at the front. So we've got Henner's really at the front of this train now. Is anybody going to try and go for a move into turn one? Someone's surely got to. Filthy's making a move in the background on Skycloud. Yeah, Arfax side looking for the move. Was that Marty going for the move as well? I think he backed out of that. Probably wisely. You do not want to be going 3 wide into there, especially with a late move. It's always going to end up in someone going in the wall. But just behind this, we've got Skycloud and Filthy still going side by side. So Filthy didn't quite manage to get the move done there. And we've got Rotko's onto the back of them, actually setting the fastest lap on the last lap. So he does have the pace, so it must have just been a bad qualifying where he didn't manage to get a clean lap in. Pretty easy to do, because if you make a mistake, you're in the wall, you pick up damage and that's your lap really over. We've still got this train, so top 3 is starting to break away now. They're quite separated, although they are starting to close in on Fancy Lots a little bit. Was that a little bit wide for Marty? Just a little bit, but not enough to close anyone into the back of him. These are all looking pretty similar pace at the moment. That was a Rotko's on the outside of Filthy. I'm going to go back and have a look at how that's set up. He dived to the inside. We'll go back one more time. So does Filthy make any contact with the wall on the outside, or is he just a little bit too cautious through there? No, Rotko's just getting a lot better run. And then I think Filthy just being a little bit bottlenecked up behind everyone. And Rotko's was braking at the normal point, had to sort of take avoiding action, but he's making it work. Going the outside, now he's got the inside line, which is where he wants to be. And he'll be hoping that he can get close to Skycloud to get the slipstream down into turn 1, which hopefully let him keep this position. Gets it turned, probably the easiest way to go with the BMW to get it turned, just basically make the corner into a V. Accelerate in a straight line. He's probably not close enough to get slipstream though, which means Filthy is going to be all over the back of him, and Hurricane probably as well. Filthy deciding to work together for now, which is probably a wise decision. You just get an idea of how long this straight is. We're going to be on it for almost 30 seconds plus. And Filthy's still sat in the slipstream. Doesn't look like he'll be going for a move on this time. Hurricane just sort of moving out of the racing line just to make Filthy think about where he's going to place the car. But Rotko's had the pace, so I imagine through this twisty section he'll probably close up to the cars ahead. Probably allow him to make some more progress in the next lap down into turn 1. So we've got Skycloud and Marty. They were battling last week as well in 6th and 7th. And Arfax did. Just go back a little bit. Was that into turn 1? Yes, it was. Just nice, simple slipstream move into turn 1. It's not really any fighting that. It's all the way past by the time they actually get to the corner. And this front part was actually closed up a lot. So Fancy Lots was running away with it, but you can see the last couple of laps have been a bit rough. 58.0 for the second lap when he had the massive gap, then down 2 minutes, and then a 59.0. And Ellie's actually put the fastest lap of the race in, 57.7, and 2 laps in the 57s, and Ross basically there as well. So it might actually have a fight for the lead, which it did not look like early on. It looked like Fancy Lots was just going to run away with it. But the benefit of having the 4GT is the insane straight line speed, but it's going to be made a lot harder because they are both in the same car. It's also going to make things a lot harder for Ross, because our Audi is okay on top speed, not amazing, certainly not really in comparison to the 4GT. So let's see, can Ellie get a good run out of here? Goes a bit wider, maybe getting on the power a little bit earlier. Doesn't really look like they've got a much better run, but it's such a long straight they can still get into attacking range from here. So let's just have a quick look back. Haversad still got Hennes right on the back of him. This could be a move into turn 1. And looks like these guys are all spaced out just a little bit. Hurricanes managed to get past Filthy. And we've got Saab, Kanata, Clyde. Clyde's dropped down a lot. He was 5th, I think, at the start, so must have had some sort of incident at the start, but that's not doing him any favours. Gunmad is lagging a little bit like we expected. T. Morrison down in last place, still on the back of him though, still trying to close in and go for a move. Go back to the front quickly, because Ellie did not get close enough to go for the move, and Fancy Lots actually took the fastest lap of the race back, so it's a good response from Fancy there. And they are just about starting to drop Ross. He's probably just outside slipstream range, I would guess. And if these two can work together, they can really secure this 1-2 for the Ford. Which would be a great result in the Constructors' Championship. I'm not actually sure where they finished. I know neither of them had a particularly great race in Red Bull Ring, so this will boost them up nicely. But through that section, Fancy looks like he got it a lot better. He's pulled away a decent chunk from Ellie. Ross looks like he closed in a lot under brakes there. Be interesting to see if he can get into the slipstream and actually stick with the Fords. Because if Ellie's got the slipstream, he's unlikely to be able to go for the move. This really is becoming a bit of just a slipstream train now. Everyone's pretty much the same distance apart. Is there anyone looking for the move? Actually got Roscoe's not really coming under threat from Hurricane. Although he may be at the end of the straight, he is now. Roscoe looks like he's just outside of the slipstream window. And yeah, Hurricane's going for the move. Gets it done easily before the corner. Just stay to the inside now. Actually, whoa! What was going on there in front of them? He's got Skyclad getting a massive run on Marty. Let's watch it from this POV. Ooh, not really sure what was going on there. Looked like Skyclad was trying to set up the dummy, go to the inside and send down the inside. Marty moves across late, maybe spooks Skyclad a little bit. Ends up getting the position anyway, but yeah, that was a bit messy. Marty just went wide after moving in the braking zone. It's a bit of a late move. Probably wouldn't get reported because in the end it's actually worked out for Skyclad. But yeah, it was a bit messy. And Marty looking for the move there, probably not the best idea. It's actually allowed Hurricane to come onto the back of him and pretty much get past already. Got the inside line here, should be able to hold it. And he does. And Marty's into the wall. He does get damaged, so that's going to cost him a lot. Wide again. That's Filthy through, and Rotkar's looking to get through as well, and he does. That's a very costly half lap for Marty. Down from 5th or 6th down to the bottom end of the top 10. Sort of a little bit of a blessing in disguise is he's got reverse grid pole at the moment. And we've got Fossey, Kanata, Zab having a bit of a battle with Clyde. Oh, sliding out from Clyde. Didn't manage not to get damaged, so that's good. But that slide's going to cost him a lot. There's a big gap back to Gunmad anyway, so it's probably not even going to cost him a position. So a bit fortunate with that. But as we go on to the final lap, yeah, the two Fords have managed to run away with this, get a bit of gap over Ross now. And it looks like they were working together there, so they're just going for the 1-2 possibly. Unless Ellie goes for the move here. Doesn't look like it. Goes a little bit deep, a little bit close for comfort. but looking like they're just going to work together, and then maybe Ellie's thinking about going for the run to the line, because it is possible, given how far it is away from the exit of the last corner, that you can overtake before the line. Same car will make it tricky to do, so it'll be interesting to see. Probably won't be going for any moves here, just not worth the risk. And sticking close enough that the move is still possible at the end. It's also possible to go for a move into the last corner. It looks like it's just dropped back a little bit, which is going to make the last move into the last corner not really an option. It would need to be probably a mistake from Fancy here to allow Ellie back in with a shot of the win. It's been a really strong race from Fancy. We had a couple of laps, lap 3 and 4, weren't particularly great, but he's really got the pace back down to where he was on lap 2 when he had the gap. Could have made it a little bit easier for himself, but didn't look like he got a great run out of there though. And Ellie's actually really close to the back of him. Are they going to do formation flying, or are they actually going to go for the move? I think, Fancy's actually letting Ellie through. It's interesting. I'm not sure why doing that so early in the season, but anyway, we've got Ross in third, so actually really strong result from Ross. Let's hold on to third. See anyone getting a run to the line? No, they're all nice and separate. So quick run through how people finish. So we've got Ross in third. So that's a good result from Ross. Was in second briefly, but managed to stabilise in third after Ellie managed to get through. Henner's strong result in fourth, keep beating his currently tied with in the championship with Eroticos, so that's a good chunk of points over Eroticos in fourth. Arfaxad had a fifth, which is that's kind of what he did at the first round. Kind of solid top 5 for every race. I got Skycloud after that, bit of a messy miscommunication or incident, I guess, with Marty. Hurricane managed to get up to 7th from, I think, 11th. Oh no, he was 8th, so he made it one position, which is probably from Clyde dropping back. But he obviously had some kind of incident because he was further down. He was outside the top 10 with a few laps ago. Filthy in 8th. Eroticos in 9th. Made up a couple of positions, but looked like he had pace for better than that. So he'll probably be a bit disappointed, but it does set him up nicely for the feature race. Got Marty after that really messy half a lap really. It knocked him from 6th down to 10th. Does get reverse grid pole, so that's a bonus. Fossey managed to go up a few places, up to 11th. Just misses out on that reverse pole, which could change his feature race around. Kanata in 12th, so it's struggling again for Kanata. Didn't have a great sprint race in Red Bull Ring, but in the feature race he had a really strong race and managed to win it. But that's going to be a lot harder, obviously starting 12th and not getting the benefit of the reverse grid. Got Zab down in 13th, who I think, did he make a couple of positions up? I think that was around where he started. Clyde having quite a disaster. He didn't have any really bad laps, just low pace, so maybe got a great slipstream lap in qualifying, or just really nailed the lap. Gunmad, who was lagging quite a lot, but we didn't really see it play any major part in the race. And we've got Morrison across the line in 16th. So probably would have been hoping for a little bit better from his debut, but he was very much at the back of the group. Okay, let's get the feature up. So yeah, Henner's currently taking the championship lead after the sprint race. He's going to have probably about 7 or 8 points, I think, in the lead. Boris Rotkos will start P2 in the feature race, where the bigger points are on offer. So if he can keep clean, we saw in the sprint race they had good pace. So let's have a look. What's everyone starting on? So we've got Marty starting at the front on mediums, which makes sense. He's got a clear air as long as he can stay in front of everyone. Erotica's going on the hards, so if he's probably hoping to use the slipstream to try and stick with Marty and get pulled along and keep at the front. Filthy also on the hards. Hurricane on Skycloud on the mediums, so they're going to be wanting to go for moves early, or as early as they can. Fuel is going to be the major strategy decider, I think, in this one, because I think everyone is going to be going medium hard. It's just a question of if you can do an extra lap on mediums, if you want to do an extra lap on mediums, because don't think anybody is going to be trying a hard soft or even a medium soft. It's just not an option with the fuel, because most cars go around 10 laps. Some you can extend to 11. I think somebody tried to go 12, but it didn't really work out for them, so I don't think we'll see anybody do that in here, or hopefully not, I guess. So I've got Arthur on hards, Henna's on mediums as well, which is an interesting choice starting mid-pack. He's going to need to get into some clean air to actually use the tyre advantage. Got Ross on the hards, Fancy on the hards, Elliot on the hards, Fossey on mediums as well. So that's another Honda team decision. Interesting choice. Probably wouldn't have done that myself, starting in 11th. Canards actually done it as well. Sab's on hards, clouds, and we've lost Gunmad probably due to some internet issues if he was lagging quite a lot. So some interesting choices with people going mediums out the back. And let's actually watch from the back, or let's stick with Zab for the start. Let's see if we can catch any carnage in the mid-pack. Looks like he's got a much better start than Kanata did, which is a little surprising given Kanata's in the Supra. Just looking to bump for now. Don't really want to go for a move too early, so you just end up dropping further and further back. Everyone keeping it clean for now. It is 3 wide up ahead though, and I think that was Henna's going really deep. It might have been Fossey. So one of the Hondas was going very deep into turn 1. Zab's managed to keep it clean. He's actually losing a position to Clyde though, unfortunately, with how everything's shaken out. Well, he is 3 wide here. And we've got Ross in 10th, so Ross has lost a couple of positions. Yeah, I think it is Fossey. Let's go back. I think, was it Fossey that was sending it into turn 1? No, it wasn't. But everyone just pushes wide. A little bit of contact between Fancy and Ross. Nothing in that though. Then a little bit of a tap on Fancy, who's on the hards, so cold hard tyres. That explains how that move sort of turned out. A little bit of a push pass. But up to 8, so that's a really good start from Fossey. He needs to do that, making use of his medium tyres. And then we've got this little gaggle goes up with 2x2 almost through here. Looks like Ellie, we've got a bit pushed out. Let's go on the onboard so we can actually see what's happening. So Ross still ahead. A little bit of contact with the wall there. Ellie coming back alongside. Probably has to release them there on the hards. So that's actually not back again. It's actually Kanata looking for the move. Oh, actually gets hit from Clyde, and that's what puts Ellie into the wall. Didn't get damaged, luckily. But Henna's has also had an absolute mare somewhere. It's absolute carnage. Goes way too deep. Also doesn't get damage, which is impressive. Does cost him a lot of positions though, and that is really going to hurt him compared to Erotica's. Getting sandwiched there as well. Oh god, there is absolute carnage. So Ellie's got damage on both sides. So is this. That was okay. So this is absolute carnage. So it's actually Clyde that goes too deep on the brakes. Actually gets sort of doesn't really have anywhere to go there. Doesn't get damage himself. Then we've got Ellie getting damage on both sides now. Skycloud trying to go for the move. Probably able to get past fairly quickly with all that damage for Ellie. And Ellie's going to be hoping to bounce back quickly from this because the pace in the sprint showed that they should be near the front, if not at the front. Oh, that looked like a mistake from Ellie. Yeah, it definitely looks like they're waiting for Zab. Yeah. And Zab's actually got damage. Not sure if it was from that or not, but Ellie's managed to actually get rid of the damage now. Yeah, chooses to bump draft. I respect the decision. Not wanting to go for the move immediately after he just rear-ended someone. Let's have a quick check-in out of the front. So Marty using his medium straight effect off of the reverse grid pole, building a nice gap over Roscoe's, who's not really under pressure. And Fossey is now up to 4th. It's been an amazing first lap for Fossey. Was 11th, yeah, 11th, started 11th. Made a few positions in turn 1 and 2. And then has profited from the absolute carnage that happened in the middle of the lap 1. And he's actually up to 4th. So it's a great run from Fossey. It'll be interesting to see if he can stay up here, especially once he switches on to the hard tyres. Also, we've got a move coming here. Is that Hurricane trying to defend? Where I'd want to be, but Skyfly managed to hold it right on the outside. Yeah, and that's medium versus hard, but a nice move. Needs to be making those kinds of moves. Hurricane's actually looking to come back though. Doesn't quite do it, but that's Skycloud in the wall, and that is damage. And is bunching up massively again. Not like Fancy Lock was going into the wall just a little bit there. Skycloud actually managed to hold on, even through this section with the damage. Not going to be able to break the slipstream though, which is a bit unfortunate. And they are going to be closing down into the last corner of the inch and see if they're close enough to go for a move. Not really. Hurricane's going defensive from our backside more than attacking. Fossey actually having a look at Filthy. Does he go down the inside? No, looking to probably just get it turn tighter on the mediums. Ooh, a little bit of a bump. Pushes Filthy out wide. Ooh, and then Filthy gets into the wall a little bit. Not sure if that would get reported or even if it's an incident worth reporting. But Fossey now up to 3rd on his mediums, so making great progress at the moment. And these have dropped back a little bit from Orozco's and Marty. And Filthy just here playing it smart early on in the feature, just bump him. And get away from the pack behind, because there is a big gap now. Back to Skycloud, who's probably going to come under threat from Hurricane. It looks like they are closing in rapidly. But are they going to be able to go for the move? Kind of blocks the inside. I think we need to have another look at that one. Probably from Hurricane's point of view. Yeah, I'm not even sure what the ruling would be on that, to be honest, because the line isn't straight, so it's hard to judge whether you're moving and changing your line or not. It wasn't in the braking zone, and obviously there was a lot of space to the right early on there, but luckily he's only lost 1 position. He's only got actually tyre damage, so it's not aerodynamic, so straight line speed not going to be affected. Be interested to see how he takes this corner. Doesn't look like he's costing him too much. He is under threat from Hennes though, but the damage has now been fixed, so he can sort of stabilise now. And I think further back we've got Ross, got Morrison and Clyde having a bit of a battle. So this wasn't your best hour at all. Well, it's not going too bad so far. I haven't seen anything that bad. He's still on the right on the back of the pack, although you are on mediums, so you're going to have to start making some progress through here. Is Clyde going to go for the move into there? He is, and that pushes Morrison wide. Doesn't get damaged though, and doesn't lose the position. Actually opens the door for Zab to try and make a move on Clyde. I was going for the switchback, so Ellie's still down in 15th, so I didn't manage to get back past Zab at any point. So Zab's now going for the move on Clyde. Is he committed to it? Ooh, not really, it gets a little bit of a bump. And that does allow Ellie alongside, and they've got the battle line here. Just about, and Clyde's going to give Ellie the slipstream. She should see the Ford get past Zab. Now he's actually moved back, so Zab's now getting the slipstream, so that's going to hurt Ellie's chances of getting past. So is Zab going to go for the move? Ellie's actually looking for the move already, but isn't quite far enough alongside. It's getting a little bit congested here. Morrison just getting absolutely closed in because no slipstream to help him. Ellie is going to make the move up into 14th, so it's starting to slowly move through. Looks like they might get Clyde here as well though. Ooh, a little bit. He's threading the needle. Zab managed to get 2 positions out of that. And he's now onto the back of Morrison. Ellie looks like getting shuffled down back to last again. So this is really hurting their chances of getting back to the front. Not the best corner there either, but just getting the hard tyres out of the way, so maybe our medium tyres, the Ford, will be a little more compliant. It does look to be understeering quite a lot through there. So let's go and check in at the front. So Marty, unsurprisingly, leading away at the front. Showed last week they had strong pace and made his way up to 5th, I think, at one point in the sprint race. So he's got a decent pace, making good use of the mediums. Orotkos is keeping him very close though on the hards. So my money is on Orotkos to get the win if he can stay this close and come out on mediums. I would put money on him being able to get past Marty if they don't decide to work together and just try and stay away from everyone. Then we've got Fossey, who's building a bit of a gap to Filthy, probably just out of slipstream range. And then we've got Skycloud on the mediums, looking to get past Filthy on the hards, which she's going to want to do quickly to make sure she's making use of the mediums while they've still got some good tyre life left. Pulls out, does go for the move down the inside. Filthy looks like she's decided not to fight that one. Might have worked out at this point that she is on the mediums, and it's better just to sit behind and work together. And he's probably about to get some help from his teammate Arvaxad, who's up to 6th. Also on the hard, so these guys are going to be able to make hopefully some progress once they go on to mediums for the second half. It's a little bit wide for Filthy through that corner. It's going to allow Arvaxad right onto the back. And he tries to go for the move immediately. I'm lucky not to end in an incident there, or with someone in the wall. Because our teammates should just be working together. Because that has allowed Hurricane and Henners onto the back of them, which is probably not what they want. So we've got Fancy Locks in 9th as well, on the hards, not really on the back of Henners in front. So Ford doesn't look like it's particularly happy on the hards with either car at the moment. And we've got Kanata in 10th, coming under pressure from Ross in 11th. So Ross has lost a few positions now, but quite a few of them are probably the guys that started behind on the mediums. So we'll be hoping to get them back in the second half. Can probably have a good look at getting past Kanata into turn 1. Or before. But he's probably going to bump draft for now because there's no point pulling out this early. Yeah, it decides to bump draft for now. But we'll surely be going for the move. Kanata's on mediums though. So if he can stay, Kanata will be wanting to stay in front if possible. So it'll be interesting to see how hard he defends this. Doesn't look like he's going defensive at all. And Ross thought about it, doesn't commit to it. Be interesting to see if he decided to work as a team this week, because last week he was really intent on fighting Eroticos for all the race, and it may have cost him a chance at Kanata for the win, but we will never know because of the rain. But it doesn't really look like Ross is that interested in going for a move, more interested in using Kanata's slipstream. Doesn't have a great S section there. So he's going to drop back, be looking to hopefully get back into slipstream range by the start-finish straight. Kanata's actually closing up, and 6/10 purple for Kanata, closing up onto the back of Fancy Locks. Those tyres are starting to get towards 50% wear, which is going to be where we start to see the first drop in performance. Let's go forward a little bit. See, this is where the back battle's happening. I think there might have been Hennis trying to go around the outside of Hurricane there. Does just about managed to get it done, but not going to have the speed on the Audi on the straight, so pulls back into the slipstream. Now he's going to pull out immediately, or he's going to bump, yeah, going to bump draft each other. With Arfaxad just ahead, who's probably still got slipstream from his teammate in front of him. But Hurricane and Henner's surely going to get past Arfaxad here. He's using the slipstream to great effect there. Could they get filthy as well? Possibly. They look like they've got the speed for it. Hurricane's definitely alongside. Brakes late, gets nice stop. Ooh. Doesn't quite manage to get it stopped. A little bit of contact there. That's actually allowed Hennis to come through as well. And these are on hards. Hennis is actually on the mediums though. So he'd probably prefer the free air if he could get it, but working with Hurricane seems to be working out pretty nicely for him so far. And we've got Filthy still managing to hold behind all the hards. Havax out on the hards, and Fancy Lots now closing up onto the back of this battle. So maybe just getting to grips with the hards a little bit more now after a few laps. Not a very popular tyre, but there's no other option than hards, I think, for this race. And we've got Kanata. Rostom's closed up a little bit onto the back of Kanata. Fancy not having the best section through there, it's dropped off a little bit. Still probably going to be able to get slipstream. Albaxar going for a late move on his teammate. Managed to get it done nicely. Filthy looks like he was going for the switchback but didn't quite time it correctly. This is actually put Arfaxad in a pretty good position down to turn 1, I think, because he should still have slipstream from the cars in front. And if he can get some help from his teammate here, which he looks like he's going to, these have got the same chance of doing the same thing to Hurricane and Henner's that they did to them the last lap. But Henner's deciding to work with Hurricane. It's probably a wise decision. It looks like it's probably going to keep them ahead into turn 1. And actually these two pairs having slipstream is going to keep Fancy Locks out of it. Let's just see. Henner's tries to go for the move, goes way too wide though. Almost allows Arfaxad through. Doesn't quite. So Arfaxad managed to back out of it. I did just see some battling going up here at the front. So Orozco's been caught now from Skycloud and Fossey, both on the mediums, so that makes sense. Marty's still got a nice lead at the moment. And we've got Fossey trying to hold it around the inside. Skycloud actually mentioned to get around the outside there. So it's a really nice move there, up into second place. Does she have the pace to pull away and sort of ease into that gap to Marty? Because they are on the same strategy. The top three are now all the three medium runners. So they're all on the same strategy. So Roscoe's probably not too bothered at this point, although he might not know that the guys in front are on mediums. Roscoe's just going to be looking to work together here to use the slipstream to keep himself in the fight for when he goes onto mediums in the second half. Looks like he's just dropping away a little bit. Skycloud definitely pulling away from Fossey there. And might be able to even break the slipstream immediately. Roscoe still looks close enough to benefit from it. But this is going to be massive if Skycloud can break the slipstream and keep using those medium tyres. Looks like he's got some really good pace. Solid low 59s consistently. Fossey does actually have the fastest lap of the race at the moment, 58.9. That's probably going to come down, I would think, when the guys that were at the front of the sprint get onto the mediums. Now looks like Roscoe's has just about got the slipstream still. Looks like he's sort of spaced out a little bit. So Henners and Hurricane actually pulling away from Arfaxad and Filthy. These probably going to just keep working together. Yeah, they're just working together for the moment. And are these three doing the same? Because I can see Fancy Lock's just off the back of just Filthy now. No, Fancy going for the move immediately. Trying to use the fast straight line speed to get past. But the bump drafting is keeping them ahead for now. It's like a little bit of contact, but nobody went particularly deep. That was just Arfaxad going a little bit deep. Was there any contact with Arfaxad? Or was that just on his own? You can see the battle in front there as well. Yeah, Arfaxad going a little bit deep on his own. There's no contact there. But is that going to let his teammate through? Yes. Does he lose position for GT? No, he manages to cut back in and block off Fancy. That's all allowed Kanatis to get onto the back of these guys as well. Ross just drops off a little bit, probably lost that slipstream, and it's what's costed him because Kanata is on the mediums. Looked like he was almost thinking about setting up a move, but maybe mistimed it a little bit. Although he looks like he got a good run here. Is Fancy going to cover him off? Not completely, so Kanata does have the inside and does send it through. Does clip the wall though, but doesn't get damage critically. So it shouldn't affect his race at all now that he's made that move. And oh, that's Fancy wide. That's going to allow Ross onto the back of him. Not too close though. Let's just move up a little bit. So Henner's still looking at the back of Hurricane, but these two have been working together really well, to be honest, to keep themselves away from both the McLarens. And Hurricane won't mind this at all because he's on the hards and Henner's is actually on the mediums. So he's holding up his competition on the better tyre, even though they're working together. So he's actually benefiting Hurricane quite a lot. Back up to the front. These actually closed the back in a little bit. So it looked like a bit of a rough lap for Skycloud, so I Fossey onto the back of them. Marty's still solidly out in front at the moment. But it looks like Fossey not with the best straight lines top speed in that Honda. He's actually going to come under threat from Rotico's in the end. Rotico's goes really deep there, does manage to get it stopped, a little bit of contact, but he should hold that position, and he does. So it'll be interesting to see if this is the point where the hard tyres are the better tyre than the mediums now, because you can see on both the Lambo and the NSX that they're getting quite low. How are we doing for fuel? Quite even. Fossey's used a little bit more than Rotico's and Skycloud. And we'll see if anybody's going more. Tim Morrison's actually in already at the end of lap 9. So that's I'm doing 11 laps on the hards. It's an interesting decision. But yeah, Marty's probably got enough fuel to do another lap. Sky again, also probably got enough. Actually pulled away from Oscars, so mediums have still got good turning through the twisty section. Maybe just struggling on traction more than anything then. Oh, goes deep there. That's going to allow Oscars right onto the back of her. Oh, and yeah, said he might be struggling on traction. Ooh, don't reverse into everybody. Now, if I was her, I'd be coming in immediately. Don't want to do any more time with that damage than you have to. You can just drive into the pits now and go onto the hards. It does have some fuel left. Yeah, it does come into the pits. So Filthy's actually the only one so far, and actually Zab. Because Filthy's actually got a lot of fuel left. Still probably only enough to go one extra. So he's going to gain quite a lot of time from not having to fuel up as much. And we've got Zab, who's going to be hoping to benefit from the same. Zab may need to go that far to run the mediums for only 9 laps, because you saw how that went for his teammate Skycloud with losing it on traction, so probably doesn't want to get down to that point. Let's see here everyone we shook out. So we've got Marty, didn't quite fill up the tank, onto the hards, Roscoe's onto the mediums, probably 4 or 5 second gap maybe. You know, for Arfaxad, who's underfueled massively compared to everyone else, especially compared to Hurricane and to Fosse, who's pretty much put a full tank in again, out on the hards. And yeah, so the Honda's having to fill up almost completely because Hennes has done the same. He's onto the hards now, so he's going to struggle to make massive amounts of progress. And Kanata's actually on the soft, so Kanata is going medium soft. I would be impressed if they make the end. I would have thought he'd have been better off going 11.9 if he was going to try that. But maybe this can work out. Should certainly get him a good shot at the fastest lap, if nothing else. But he does have a tyre advantage now, so he's going to need to really take advantage of this if he can. And it does look like he is being held up on those softs, so he's going to want to make this move almost immediately. And that is Filthy in off the hards. We've still got 6% of fuel left. Zab really pushing it to the limit with going the 11th lap. Kanata does go for the move, does get it turned around the inside. Doesn't have the position yet though, yet Ross manages to come across the inside. But yeah, Kanata on soft's interesting strategy call. I'm very curious to see if it works out, because I don't know if anybody else, even in any tier, tried the medium soft. So it might be the only one. And then we've got Zab coming out now, loses those 2 positions, but is in front of his teammate and Ellie, who's had a bit of a rough race, particularly the start, but did get down to some solid lap times in the end. Made a couple of positions on Morrison and Clyde. Morrison's got a lot less fuel than even Marty at the front, so I'm not sure. I wonder if Morrison has got enough fuel to make the end. Might have to do a lot of fuel saving to make the end with this charging, but it'll be interesting to keep an eye on. So still got Marty out in front. That gap does look like it's coming down to Orozco's. Oh, and that's where Arfaxad into the wall. Doesn't get damaged, but does allow Hurricane through. And Filthy's still right at the back of them, and has the same amount of fuel basically, so they're going for the same amount of pushing or not fuel saving in this stint. Fosse's still behind in 6th, so this is still a good result from Fosse. He was up from 11th from the start of this race. So even if he can hold on to a top 10, he's still made some good progress, and he'll still get some good points. And there is a bit of a gap between Hennes in 10th and Zab in 11th. And Henners and Fossey are actually on the same strategy, both on the hards at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see if he can hold on to that in front of his teammate. Hurricane not managed to get away from Arfaxad, so he's going to be in danger into turn 1. Not sure if I'd rather be Arfaxad or Filthy in this situation, because Filthy's going to get to them probably right at turn 1, where it can really benefit from the double slipstream and have massive overspeed. So it'll be interesting to see. So Arfaxad was closing in, so did go for the bump, but pulled out a little bit. So I'm not sure, I might just a little bit of lag. Hurricane immediately pulls into the slipstream, but then has to go defensive from Filthy, who's on the outside. Does decide to hold it, tries to cut back in, and does manage to keep the position from any of the guys behind. And I think that's Fossey defending from Fancy Locks, who's actually gone around the outside with the medium tire advantage. And getting helped along from Kanata on his softs. And you can see how quickly they're starting to wear already. He's going purple, unsurprisingly, does have the fastest lap. So Fancy, who really should have won the first race, so I'm not sure if there was some kind of incident or they just think that Ellie's going to be the driver title threat at the end of the season and they're swapping already. But Fancy Lock's still got a chance, definitely got a massive chance at the podium. Not sure about the win, because Orozco's is probably 4 or 5 seconds up the road. And with all this battling still going on here, that's going to be a tough ask, I think. Kanata's managed to make the move though. So he's making this soft stint work, but he's done 3 laps on them, and they're already closing in to being 50% worn. So I don't see these tyres making the end. So unless he's going for the 2-stop, which would be an interesting strategy. I don't know if anybody else tried that either, so I have no idea if it's going to work or not. But he's going to want to make quick progress past these 3 in front of him, because then he's got some clear air to use the soft tyres, because they will still be the better tyre for now, or they're approaching that point where they're going to be basically the same as the mediums that the other drivers are on. And all the drivers around him now are on mediums, so there's no double tyre compound advantage. As Hurricane's sort of looking for the move, but just holds it around the inside, yeah, and just pops back into the line. It looks like Kanata was going for a move on Filthy. Was that a little bit wide, or was there any contact there? I think Filthy maybe just trying to avoid Hurricane, maybe braking a little bit too late there. But that's another easy position for Kanata. When Fancy's actually looking at going around the outside, probably backs out of that. It's a tricky move to pull off there. Here's Kanata going to go for the move into here. No, but Hurricane was sort of looking for it on Arfaxad. Kanata's still in the slipstream, still really close to Hurricane. Probably doesn't want to try anything. Ooh, big hit to the wall, and I think that was, no, he didn't spin. He managed to save it. Let's go back and have a look at that again, because they had a proper big tank slapper there. Just gets on the throat too early. Yeah, oof, does manage to save it really nicely. Does lose a lot of time to Hurricane though, and those Fancy come right up behind him. But he is holding this position for now. But without the slipstream to the cars in front, he is going to be under threat into turn 1 and down the main straight, which is going to cost him some positions, which he really cannot afford with this strategy. Fancy was sort of looking for it. Still hanging there on the inside, but pulls in behind. Ooh, that was a bit of a bad line from Fancy, it looked like. Probably not going to cost him too much, if anything, because of the slipstream and the straight line speed of the Ford. And he's surely going to get past Kanata here pretty comfortably. Does he decide to bump draft before he makes the move, or just go straight past? Does look like he's decided to bump draft. And probably pull out a bit later, closest to turn 1. So we've got a battle behind. Ross starting to make a bit of progress now. After a bit of a shaky start, I would say, for Ross. But he's up to 7th now, so making some good progress. And Fossey is dropping back like we expected on the hard tyres, although it looks like he's going to get that position back from Filthy. Ooh, he's actually going to dive up the inside of Ross. Doesn't look like he's going to get the position though. But they're going 3 wide now, which is not... Yeah, Filthy backside of it. Probably smart decision there. Fossey trying to hold it around the outside. But it's going to be Ross's line into the next corner. He should be able to hold this, especially on the mediums. Yeah, and he does. So Ross up to 7th now. And he's definitely within a chance of the podium. Actually, we've missed a move for the lead, so let's go back. I think that's probably from a while ago. Does he make it into the last corner, or does he wait for the start-finish straight? Could really wait for the start-finish straight, even if Marty is defending, which obviously you would do at this point in the race. Looks like he just gets a much better exit with the medium tyres. And Marty probably going to just work together now, rather than try and fight back. Yeah, just starts bump drafting, so we'll go back forward a little bit. Roscoe's just defending the inside. Don't really want to take the risk and leave the door wide open for Marty. But Roscoe's probably going to be able to pull away now, I would expect. Yeah, we've seen this bit already. There we go, so back up to where we were before. Just 5.5 laps to go now. And Ross probably going to be able to pull away from Fossey, because Fossey is on the hard. It's like Fossey made a little bit of contact with the wall, and that's going to allow Filthy alongside. That was a bit messy from everyone involved, but I think Fossey definitely goes into the wall, which causes him to slow down. So we'll go on board with Filthy. Managed to get in nicely there. Gets all the way alongside. Yeah, I'm not sure if Fossey just didn't see him there. Because Filthy had every right to be on the inside and leave it there on the inside. But it's going to cost Fossey. Didn't cost him to his teammate, but he does have damage, so that's probably going to cost him now. And he might be actually just be moving out of the way for his teammate there. Because he's not fighting it. Although he's later on the brakes. Yeah, probably just going to pull in behind there. And then try and work together, because they are both on the same strategy still. Both on the hard tyres now. They've been probably hoping to hold on to the bottom end of the top 10 positions. I'm surprised Ellie hasn't made more progress up so far. We saw the bad start to the race. And not quite into the 58s yet. Obviously Kanata is pitting off the soft seat, going for the 2-stop. It is a short pit lane, but you lose quite a lot of time because it's so the start finish straight is so fast that the cars on track are going so much faster than you in the pits. They actually works out to be quite a big pit loss. But we'll see if he can get into the top 10. I think that's really all he's going to be aiming for, 4 laps, and that's a big ask still. But does promote the 2 Hondas up into 8th and 9th. And Fancy, I think was behind him, so Fancy's up to 5th now. Still with a shot at the podium. And Ross also still with a shot at the podium, I would say, because they're only just up ahead of them. Marty probably can hold on to this, honestly. So using the sort of alternate strategy, going mediums first and then onto the hard second, to have a really strong result in the feature race. Let's go back to this fight for the podium, which I think is where the battle is going to be now. It's got Hurricane. When Arfaxad actually picks up damage in that section, so that's going to allow the guys behind to close up even more. And if Fancy's in slipstream range, he can definitely make the move into turn 1. It's definitely a possibility. But looks like that for damage has been fixed now, so it's not going to cost him down the next straight. It looks like Alpha goes a bit wide there though. That might cost him. That's definitely cost him some time to Hurricane. That's going to hurt his slipstream. I think Fancy's going to be able to make this move in turn 1, and still got a really good chance of getting Hurricane as well in the next 4 laps. A little bit of a gap back to Ross, but if these guys start fighting, that's really going to allow Ross to close back in especially in the middle 2 sectors. Fancy does decide to go for the move. It looked like they were thinking about doing the bump draft, but yeah, with that amount of overspeed, just going straight for the move, doesn't need to wait. Don't think Alpha is going to be able to go for a retaliating move. No, he doesn't. So I think Fancy's got a great shot at getting Hurricane as well. With that straight line speed, we saw how easy it was to get past Alpha. And they're right on the back of Hurricane now. Be interested to see if they try to go for the move in this section, or if they just wait until the straight line to the straight where they can just drive past basically. There's no point wasting any more time. Yeah, I'm not sure that was going for the move around the outside there, just trying to get out from being right behind Hurricane. All he needs to do is stay as close as possible here, and he can make the move easily into turn 1. Question then is, does he have the pace to pull away from Hurricane? Because even the Audi with the slipstream should be able to make the move back on him if he can't get away. And Ross is sort of in that bit of an annoying position where it looks like he might be just outside of the slipstream zone, especially with the 2 cars in front having it as well. They're going to be able to pull away. Although Fancy Locks makes a bit of a mess of that last corner. And he's got Alpha right behind him now. If I was Alpha, I'd just be working together until he gets to turn 1 and then try and go for the move there. Because it's protecting him from Ross, going for the bump draft, and it's going to close them back into Hurricane, which still, I wouldn't say that's guaranteed to be safe, even at turn 1 this lap, just because of how quick the Ford is. Yeah, it looks like they're closing in rapidly. So even from that far back, Fancy's going to get a great shot at going for this move. Bit of a late decision there to go to the outside. And goes way too deep. Just picks up damage. Hurricane manages to hold it around the inside. Doesn't get damage or anything, and then it's got Arfax out on the back of him now, which he will prefer to the Ford GT. But this is allowing Ross to get into that slipstream zone, and that's going to bring him into the fight. And we saw from the P3 in the sprint race that he does have good pace. So he can probably close in through this section. A little bit wide through there though. Yeah, that's not helping him. That small mistake. Tyre wear. Looks like Hurricane's got a bit better front tyre wear than Arfax had. Should probably be to expected. Fancy the same, to be honest. Pretty even tyre wear. But on a run to the line, my money would be on the Ford GT if it got to that point. Although these guys is that Marty? It is Marty, so they're actually closing in. That's probably not going to be enough to close in fast enough to make it a challenge. Although Marty did have a bit of a bad lap there, 2 minutes point 4. Then we've got Rotkoz, should be pretty safe from here as long as he doesn't make any mistakes and get damage. So this, I think, is still going to be the battle for P3. I'm not sure they're going to catch Marty. So let's go stick on board with Arfax side, because we can see Fancy Locks is going to be closing in that slipstream. And it looks like Ross is again just outside that slipstream gap that he needs. So that's really hurting him. You can see him starting to drop back now. Arfax side closing in on Hurricane. Fancy closing in even faster on the both of them. Decides to go for the move. Hurricane blocks the inside. And Fancy just decides to bump him and try and stick to the inside. Probably the best decision there. Alphax are getting a little bit of a bump on the outside. but he is holding the position. Just about, yeah. So kind of as you were again, no position changes. And it's a bit disappointing for Hurricane because it looks like he's got all the pace in this first half or first 3/4 of the lap to pull a gap, but it's not quite enough to break the slipstream, and then he just gets immediately closed back in again. So if he can't break the slipstream gap, then he will have done an amazing job to hold on to this, honestly, with the McLaren and the Ford behind. Fancy lot sticking right on the back of our backside through this section. And Ross is again closing up through this section, so it's... I'm not sure where. I think Ross is just a bit unfortunate to be exactly where he is, which is not really close enough to benefit from the slipstream. Although that was a mistake from our backside there, and that's going to let Ross into this fight, which could be massive to get Ross a chance at the podium. There's still a chance going on to the last lap. We can get a crazy amount of slipstream down to turn 1. But you can see again that mistake has cost our backside a gap to Hurricane, but it's not enough to knock him out of the slipstream gap that he needs. Fancy going massively to the inside already. Does manage to get past our backside before the corner. So can they get past Hurricane around the outside cleanly before they even get to the corner? It looks like that's what's gonna happen. Yeah, brings it back to the inside just a little bit, cover off that line. Our backside trying it around the outside, doesn't quite make it. So now the question is our backside going to be close enough to go for a move into the last corner? Because I don't see him dragging past the Ford on the run to the line. So I've got a feel for Hurricane there. Just a bit of a unfortunate situation. We couldn't quite bait the slipstream gap to get away, and it's just cost him into turn 1 with no slipstream. Which is unfortunate, because if he'd managed to defend there, he could have potentially held on to that podium position, because he was clearly faster in this section of the track than the guys behind, because he's now coming under pressure from Ross. But unless Ross goes for a move into the last corner, I don't see him being able to make the move. They're in the same car, they're not going to be able to out-drag him. We've got Marty still holding on to a solid P2, and Roscoe's has well and truly driven away from him, unsurprisingly, on the mediums with clear air. It's going to do wonders for Roscoe's championship, because he was 9th, I think, in the first race, in the sprint race. So, very good recovery, sort of doing what Kanata did. And clearly had the pace, so we had a great drive from Roscoe's on the hards early. Stuck with Marty on the mediums pretty well. Marty's going to hold on with the alternate strategy to get second. And we've got Fancy taking the podium in 3rd in the Ford GT, kind of what we expected in that battle, if he'd managed to get through. Our backside gets into 4th, Hurricane 5th, Ross 6th, Filthy in 7th. Ellie manages to go over to 8th, so get some solid points in the end. And Kanata did manage to get back into the top 10 on those soft tyres, which is interesting. Based on the tyres that he's got left, I would have probably come in a bit earlier off the mediums if he was going to do the 2-stop. Fossey and Henners both on that medium hard strategy, ended up dropping out of the top 10. Skycloud couldn't really recover after that spin, went for the softer tyre first, so a bit of hard to recover on. I missed the fuelless finish. Oh, who was out of fuel? Ellie's very low. Henners looks like he's going to run out of fuel because he's in 8th at the moment. Yeah. Luckily, he didn't manage to spin him out because of the... Is there Ellie out of fuel as well? Might be. That's what allows Saab to do. So actually, Kanata wouldn't have got the top 10 without that fuel running out. And Foss actually manages to get Henners as well. So that's going to cost Henners a lot there. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, was Skycloud struggling to make progress back on the hards, which you would expect. It's the slower tyre. think Eli probably did run out. Oh, it was very, very close to it. Then we've got Clyde. Yeah, we both ran out of fuel. Timed it to perfection. Or you did at least. Henner's not so much. But yeah, we've got Clyde. He didn't make another pit stop, but I think he had to do a lot of fuel saving to make this work. But he is going to make the end without running out of fuel. Just about. Yeah, and that is the results of the feature race. So quickly get up the standings after that race. I imagine we'll have some steward reports that might affect this, but currently we have Orozco's in P1 with 60 points with an 8-point lead over Arvaxad. Kind of doing pretty much the same as he did last week. Solid top 5 results in every race. And we've got Ross currently holding on to a top 3 after another podium in the sprint race. Actually got identical results this week as he did last week. Henner's with that 12th in the feature race after running out of fuel. It's going to cost him a lot. It's currently tied with Marty for 4th position on 45 points. Then we've got Ellie on 39 points in 6th. So making some good progress up after the first round didn't quite go as well as this one did. Probably a bit disappointed with the feature race in this one though, because the pace from the sprint race didn't really get a chance to show it in the feature race with the messy first couple of laps. And just go a quick rundown. We've got Fancy up into 7th, Kanatas in 8th after trying the 2-stop strategy. Wouldn't really say it worked out, although we don't know what his pace would have been like on the hards. Then we've got Hurricane in 9th, Skycloud in 10th, Filthy in 11th, Sab in 12th, 13th for Nectar, who didn't race this week, Fossey in 14th, Frosty, who didn't race this week as well, in 15th. Then we've got Clyde in 16th, and Morrison in 17th, and Gunmad in 18th after only doing this sprint race this week. Probably some kind of internet issue. Hopefully that gets fixed for the next one. Because in the constructors, it's actually the Audis that have the lead at the moment. But it's a very close battle between the top 3, only 5 points separate them. So that's the Audi, the Ford GT, and the McLaren. And Rotko's actually soloing the constructors at the moment because Gunmad is his teammate and hasn't scored any points as of yet. So he's only 17 points back. So they're not even out of the fight at the moment, I would say. But yeah, that's how we look at the end of round 2. And we'll be back in round 3 for Watkins Glen. So I'll be keeping an eye on Ross, because I know he really loves that track. But yeah, it's been a very chaotic race, this one. And I will see you in the next one.